Welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. My name is Jay Leach. I'm one of this community's ministers, and today it is particularly important that I let you know that my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm standing now on an early, brisk morning in one of the oldest places in Charlotte, the cemetery of the Providence Presbyterian Church, where some graves predate the American Revolution by decades. It's a beautiful but troublingly complex place. The wall, the impressive stone wall beside which I am now standing, serves as an apt metaphor, a symbol of a fixed boundary set up, maintained, kept in this place for centuries. But now these kinds of hard and fast boundaries are becoming more challenging to keep in place. A recent New Yorker article about, of all things, the Grammys made that claim, pointing out that so much of the music that is now being made defies categorization, easy assignment into one box or another. The boundaries, it declared, the boundaries are no longer quite so circumscribed. Today, I'm inviting you to open your hearts, your minds, your souls, as we explore another boundary that is no longer quite so circumscribed. This one has to do with gender, and with a far, far more complex reality than those faithful Presbyterians of prior centuries could have ever imagined possible. But this is no mere search today. It is a declaration of our values, our aspirations, our vision. It is intended especially as a message for our children, one found initially in the lyrics of the song that follows. Welcome. A very intentional welcome now to our guests, those joining us in this virtual way who may be in search for a spiritual community, here especially because of today's topic, or simply seeking some solace. Whatever brings you our way, welcome. We have a Facebook page. Simply search for the Unitarian Universalist Community of Charlotte. You'll find a message on it expressing a welcome to today's service. If you're visiting, please let us know by a reply to that message. I assure you, you'll enjoy several warm responses from our members. Maybe you'd like to have a conversation. I'd welcome a chance to talk with you, or can direct you to our membership coordinator, Kelly Green. To request a conversation with either one of us or with our other minister, Eve Stevens, simply email Kelly at kelly@uuccharlotte.org. To those of you who are regulars, please visit that same Facebook message now and share greetings with one another as we sing our opening song together.
Here in our home, we light our own chalice on behalf of the whole community.
It is this gentle light, may we feel together all that we hold most dear.
By this flickering beacon, we began to become the community we want to be.
May this symbolic flame, shared by Unitarian Universalists everywhere, call us again to be compassionate and courageous.
Good morning and welcome to our beloved community. I am Ron Spake and my pronouns are he, they. I have been a member since 2014. When I came here, my life was in a change mode and I was looking for a place to be welcomed and to get involved. I found all of that here, and later, after many classes on social justice, I wanted to get more engaged in the community as well as in the church. But I quickly learned that Unitarian Universalism is a church without walls. So I joined the Time Out Youth, Charlotte's LGBTQ Center, in 2015 as a volunteer. It was here that I found that there was a lot of work to do, and I needed to become much more engaged in the LGBT community, especially with transgender youth. I realized that I knew very little about all of those wonderful young lives that I encountered multiple times each week. I wanted to do more, and I still do, but I learned that to become an advocate, I had to familiarize myself with key terms to describe different gender identities, like cisgender, non-binary, transgender, agender, and yes, pronouns. I had to learn deep listening skills and be supportive and to enter each of these conversations with an understanding that I did not know everything. In other words, I needed to educate myself. My studies have taught me that non-binary, to include transgender people, have always been here. For as long as there have been human beings, there have been infinite human gender identities and expressions. Becoming a trans ally made me realize that allies are constantly learning, as well as listening, without judgment and criticism. Advocacy comes in many forms, so I encourage you too to find your niche and become an advocate for transgender and non-binary. Our first reading is entitled Waiting for a Greyhound Bus at the Los Angeles Station by Cynthia Guardado. A Black woman stands with two toddlers hanging off her hips. Her balance is perfect as she pushes her luggage with one leg. The boys curl into her shoulders, unaware of how they all slide forward. I offer my help. Her face is serious when she says yes. On the bus, her boys nestled into their shared seat. The driver, a white man, begins his head count. Duck, duck, goose. He asks her for her ticket. Says only one child is free. Tells her to pay for the other or to get off. It's past 2 a.m. and he threatens her with a mention of his superior. What goes through his mind as he argues with a mother juggling her children? Empty seats surround us like silent witnesses. This time, rules can't be broken. I stand up to say, one child is with me, but this young mother doesn't trust me nor the difference between us. Another woman stands and says, the child is with her. And then another woman stands and says, the child's with her. Something beautiful is happening here, and the driver can no longer fight our unity or the energy within us.
It's an oft-told family tale, something I recall more from its multiple tellings than from actual experience. After all, I was young, very young, 3, maybe 4 years old. My dad was heading out on a business trip, leaving my mom my 14 months older sister, and me at home. As he departed, my dad, accompanied by my mom, instructed me that in his absence, I was the man of the house. The man of the house. It's a memory and a message layered with emotional implications. The warp and woof of it so woven into those times and my life that I've spent the subsequent decades, both in and out of therapists' offices, trying to tease out the individual threads of it all. What did it mean that a child that had not yet lived through the span of a single presidential administration's term would be called a man? What did it mean that I was deputized by my mom and dad to hold a domestic title? Man of the house. What was implied? Expected? What rights, what privileges, responsibilities, burdens? And how was I being subtly enculturated to embody my body, to occupy a position so unmistakably evidencing the clearest kind of gender role? What privilege and what price would come with my willingness to accept and eventually reject the carefully bounded gender identity that was cast upon me on that day when I was deemed, for the duration of my dad's absence, the man of the house. At that time, science colluded with religion in the creation of but two options, either or boxes. One either checked the box marked M, cisgender heterosexual male, or the box marked F, cisgender heterosexual female. And any who could not honestly check one of those boxes, they were officially diagnosed by way of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of the American Psychiatric Association as having a mental disorder. And that clearly demarcated either or world. The floors of the suites of the rooms I shared with my sister were strewn with carefully gendered playthings. Her dolls, my trucks, her Barbie, my G.I. Joe. So well did we learn, not through direct discourse, but by the much more powerful means of cultural insistence, that boys will be boys and girls will be girls, that by the time our brother came along, we knew with a quick glance between his legs during a diaper change which box he would check. Biology, and more specifically, genitalia, determined gender identity and defined one's role within society. And because of that, before I had ever even begun kindergarten, for a few fleeting days, I had served as the man of the house.
Our second reading is from H. Melt. H. Melt is a poet, an artist, and an educator whose work proudly celebrates Chicago's queer and transgender communities. Every day is a trans day by H. Melt. Whether it's raining or snowing, midnight, or you're waking up from a nap, working an 8-hour shift, or watching reruns, buying groceries, or folding laundry, celebrating a birthday, or burying a friend, lighting a candle, or taking a bath, calling your mom, or cleaning the kitchen, mixing paint or cookie dough, waiting for bread or the sun to rise. Every day is Trans Day.
Fast forward decades later. Between us, my sister, my brother, and me, we have 5 kids. My parents, 5 grandchildren. Spanning an almost 2-decade age spectrum, these 5 include 1 cisgender heterosexual man, 1 cisgender heterosexual woman, 1 cisgender gay man, 1 transgender woman, and 1 non-binary person. Raised in a family and in a culture with a completely traditional view of gender and sexuality, this range of gender and affectional identities depicts a far truer picture of the world than those little boxes with which I grew up. And to his immense credit, my dad, now in his 87th year, has made clear that while he may not understand who his grandchildren are, he loves them all as they are. Ours is the story of our own beautiful child, who we knew from birth as Annie, named after a great-grandmother, a grandmother, and from Melissa, my wife's middle name. From the time Annie was in preschool, we had conversations about Annie's gender, both with our kid and from teachers offering intriguing observations. I recall more than one conversation from the back seat on the way to elementary school, trying to figure it all out. Girls are this way, but I don't feel that way. Boys are like this, but I know I'm not a boy. How can I be a girl who doesn't feel like a girl? Why do I feel like both a boy and a girl? And like neither? Then, at age 10, a summer camp, deep conversations with peers, and a subsequent coming out to us. I am non-binary, a term Annie knew and understood well, meaning I can no longer check either box. I'm neither M nor F. We were told that 2 things would need to change. 1, the name Annie, so clearly gendered, simply didn't fit. Fortunately, a given first name, Emerson, did. So they wished never again to be referred to as Annie. While that was an emotional loss for us, it made sense. And because I'd long had a pet name I used, I could still call them by it. The other was less emotional, but more challenging. The gendered pronouns she, her, hers no longer applied. because they couldn't check the F box. They weren't identified by those pronouns. Instead, with no other viable option in their mind, Emerson requested that we use the pronouns most often used by non-binary people: they, them, theirs. We had a choice. We could argue with our kid, insisting that we could not and would not use those pronouns, thus adding to the challenges already evident with a non-binary identity. Or we could commit to the change, awkward as it was, asking for forbearance while we worked to get it right. Our love made the choice for us. Though, of course, it's taken us a long time to change, and there are certainly times when they, them pronouns create confusion and ambiguity. Just as we have eliminated the name Annie when referring to our own child, so too we have eliminated the pronouns she, her, hers in referring to our child as well, except on those rare occasions when we still get it wrong. We have such beautiful memories of Annie, our daughter in her early years. Now, we're so proud of Emerson, our child in their high school years. We know personally, deeply, that a simplistic view of gender as an either or, this or that, M or F box is just not accurate. It's also dangerous, damaging, destructive. In the terms of our theme for this year, an insistence on a fixed gender boundary creates an oppressive barrier, both to becoming and to belonging. We are far from alone. In fact, we're among several families in our congregation who have kids or grandkids who couldn't check a box, or whose core understanding required a change from one designation to another. Trans kids, gender fluid kids, non-binary kids, our kids, our kids. Emerson is one of a growing number of children, youth, and adults among us who wonder if this community will be a place where they will be fully accepted, loved, celebrated for who they are. Will we in the dominant culture be willing to listen and learn? Will we be willing to struggle with our own confusion and awkwardness so that this can be their community too? Can we celebrate a world outside of boxes? Earlier this year, an initial group of our members went through a facilitated process designed to help us become a more welcoming congregation. Created by the Reverend Michael Slack, a trans Unitarian Universalist minister with whom I serve on the board of our seminary in California. This process is designed to facilitate a cultural shift and radical welcome. Our professional staff has now committed to participate in such a facilitated process so that we can better understand and lead. We do so at a fraught and frightening time in our society. A recent editorial in the New York Times bespeaks the danger. Entitled, "How Trans Children Became a Political Football," it explains legislation to restrict the rights of trans children isn't new. But the speed with which it is being introduced and approved around the country is. The writer Spencer Bocott Lindell names such legislation as the product of a carefully coordinated and poll-tested campaign by socially conservative organizations looking for what may be their last foothold in the fight against LGBTQ rights. Once again, North Carolina is distinguishing itself with particularly mean-spirited legislation. A Senate bill introduced earlier this year would have required state employees to immediately notify parents in writing if their child displays gender nonconformity or expresses a desire to be treated in a way that is incompatible with the gender they were assigned at birth. In other words, it punishes kids like ours, families like us, who don't think the complex social conversation about gender is defined by these little boxes. Though thankfully it is now given no chance of passage in our state, these lawmakers are tipping their hands, letting us know the measures to which they will go in their efforts to return us to a world in which gender fits into two neatly defined, biologically determined boxes. And the recent murders in our city of two black trans women serve as gruesome reminders of what is at stake when someone like Georgia Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene hangs a poster outside her Capitol office declaring, "There are two genders, male and female." Our family feels the threat. Our kid, some of your kids, some of you feel the threat. These boxes don't just have the power to constrict. These boxes have the power to kill. Our liberating religion offers a message of radical love, an inclusive compassion intended to build a beloved community. This broad and beautiful welcome takes shape not just in general principles, but in very specific choices, the kinds of not always easy choices determining just how true our welcome really is. For example, you may have noticed Eve and I now share our pronouns with every introduction, and our staff email signatures all offer our pronouns. We're modeling. We're inviting the hard choice of a deeper welcome by not presuming anyone's defining pronouns. John Herrick and I have wrestled for a few years now with song lyrics about sisters and brothers, another subtle form of a simplistic binary. And with singing, as we did again recently, here we have gathered women, children, men, aware that some of us feel left out when those are the only folks who have gathered. Will we offer a barrier or belonging? Our very real, very concrete choices will provide the real answer. I join my friend and colleague, our UUA president, the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, in praying. As a faith grounded in a love that is abundant, freely given, and available to all, I pray for courageous, bold action by cisgender Unitarian Universalists to grow understanding and inclusion in our communities. May our words and our deeds serve to build up spaces where transgender people and others of non-cisgender identities feel celebrated and nourished. Spaces where they take on leadership that will nourish this faith for generations to come. Yes, yes indeed. May it be so.
No, your mom don't get it, and your dad don't get it, Uncle John don't get it. And you can't tell Grandma 'cause her heart can't take it, and she might not make it. They say don't dare, don't you even go there, cutting off your long hair, you do as you're told. Tell you wake up, go put on your makeup, this is just a phase you're gonna outgrow. There's something wrong in the village, in the village. Oh, they stare in the village, in the village. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong with the village, with the village. There's something wrong with the village. Feel the rumors follow you from Monday all the way to Friday dinner. You got one day of shelter, then it's Sunday, hell to pay, you young lost sinner. Well, I've been there, sitting in that same chair, whispering that same prayer 500,000 times. It's a lie, though, buried in disciples. One page of the Bible isn't worth a life. There's something wrong in the village, in the village. Oh, they stare in the village, in the village. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. It's true, it's true. There's something wrong with the village, with the village. There's something wrong with the something wrong with the village, with the village. There's something wrong with the village.
Hi, my name is Megan Hendler, and I'm the proud mother of a 10-year-old transgender son named Kai. Kai came out to me at the end of second grade. This was something unexpected at the time, and I'll be honest, many emotions flowed through me, but he was my child who I loved unconditionally. I immediately affirmed and set out to find all the information that I could to support him. While I was on this quest, my husband struggled, and he thought maybe it's a phase and had difficulty using his new chosen name and pronouns. This made our home a tense environment, and I could see the hurt in my child. He would cringe every time he was misgendered. I hadn't realized that my husband, too, was trying to protect our child, but in a different way, as this world can be cruel to transgender individuals. Things have changed with the help of education, the guidance of a therapist, and now my husband is taking the role in educating others. We are both so very proud of Kai. At the beginning, there were struggles for Kai. He lost his dearest friend as the mother thought that he was inappropriate to say that he wanted to live his life as a boy. When he returned to third grade, he was bullied. The school system refused to use his chosen name in their school database. And because of this, he couldn't even take books from the library as the system had the wrong name in the computer and everyone would see it. Through the struggles, he has never faltered, and he has become such a strong and self-assured young man. He speaks of God, and he has said, "Mom, God does not make mistakes. He made me transgender to teach me to be strong." And he is strong. He is proud of who he is. He has become a confidant to other friends who are questioning their gender or sexuality, but feel they lack the support at home. Kai has made me a stronger person. I would have never imagined myself acting as an advocate, as I never felt I was strong enough or assertive enough for that. I am currently assisting in the fight for transgender rights in the state of North Carolina, meeting with the lawmakers who want to make restricting changes to youth sports, thus isolating trans youth from their peers at school and allowing healthcare workers to discriminate against patients whom they morally object to. I consider myself so lucky to be this wonderful boy's mother. And although there are hurdles that we will undoubtedly encounter, I cannot wait to see what the future holds for my sweet young man.
I'm now just down the hill from the Providence Presbyterian Cemetery in a place now designated as Providence Springs. As some of you may know, this place is said to have been important to the indigenous people living in this area. And it's here in this Springs, this place that has sustained many people, that I invite you now to find a place of deepest compassion within yourself. Open your heart in love, beginning first with yourself. You are a person of worth and dignity. Find some measure of compassion and acceptance for yourself. then I invite you, members of this community, to listen, to lean into these concerns. For Mary Cannell, in her time of concern for the health of several of her family members. For Sheila Gallagher, and for her son Colin, and their family as they mourn the death of Sheila's beloved mom. For the family and friends of Terry Grancy, one of the most regular and appreciative attendees of our services for years, as they mourn Terry's recent death. And for Yasmin Tarleton and her family, now mourning the death of Yasmin's grandmother. Now, in that same spirit of deep and intentional compassion, let us collectively join in holding our community and our nation after a particularly complex week. A week when accountability looked a little bit like justice in an obvious but still unexpected verdict. A week when yet another young black woman died in yet another police-involved shooting. A week when we face the utterly urgent need for serious commitment to environmental justice. A week, yet another week, when hope and concern were shaped together as this pandemic persists. May our prayers on this day and in the days to come be shaped by compassion and by gratitude as well. Your generosity sustains us. Financial support in the form of pledges made and pledges kept, and in special gifts through electronic portals taking the place of the baskets that we pass. Please consider how you might support our community, and thank you for your contributions. Our meditation this week takes a musical form. I invite you again to open your heart, to listen as John plays and as the lyrics of this beautiful song are displayed now on your screen. May we hear the prayers. May our hearts be moved. May our loving compassion and our courageous connections be our response, our answer to those prayers. To all on this day, and most especially to all who know themselves no longer defined by the narrow boundaries of gender. May you feel concern, welcome, love. May we all go with courage into the week that now lies ahead.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do. They settle neath your skin, kept on the inside, no sunlight. Sometimes the shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy, falling for the fear and don't disappear and bow down to the mighty. Don't